Okay. Welcome to the start of a new anime review series. This is basically reviewing the series known as The Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. I've heard various different advertisements for this series. The series only aired back in October, and it wrapped up just 3 months ago. Thinking, wow, that's a fairly recent series. Not one just started, just fairly recent. And can you believe this is the first new anime I've started in 2 months? Yeah, seriously. If you're thinking, how is that possible? Well, the reason why, because last time I worked on was Emerald in the Shadow, and that was the second season I worked on. But here, we're discussing this particular series. This is also believe it or not, the 5th anime I've gotten to in the last 4 months. That features Lucy Christian as a featured character. Farmer of the World, Chronicles reincarnated Chronicles basically the aristocrats of Real Adventure. The strongest exes reincarnated in the world, Emerald in the Shadow, and now this show. 5 shows in 4 months that feature her as a character. Well, I would say 4 out of 5 of them, she's the female lead of the show. Kind of. But not in the case of basically, well, or she's featured primarily. Kind of. So let's get started here. Now, basically, I'll get to her. She's a show a little bit later in the episode, the first episode. By the way, the first 2 episodes cover, and I remember reading this really well because I finished reading it just last night. Like, these 2 episodes cover like the first 54 pages of a 174 chapter book. You're thinking, really? It covers that much in just 2 episodes? Yes, believe it or not, book 1 covers 6 episodes. You're thinking, wait, 6? How long is this one? 12. So the first book takes up half of the season. Yep. And it covers 3 other books. We'll get to that. So, the name of the main character is Linus Death Mage, who basically was if you look at him when he was in his div form, I saw in the anime. Oh, by the way, the series is Melee Passionate, which is actually, this is the 3rd anime I've come across of them basically doing the animation. You're thinking, 3rd? What was the first? The 4th season of High School DxD. Yep. I have also watched Harem Alive in the World, and now this show. You're thinking, okay, 3 shows. Not bad. For a studio, they only started back in, 2011. Yep. Now, mostly put, when it came to studio, it's, very edgy and fan service. They don't get much, you get a little bit of fan service, this one. Oh, unlike in the case of High School DxD, we got nudity in that one. And also in the case of Harem Alive in the World, I did see a version where they feed nudity. This one, not really, no. The only kind of nude scene you get is actually around episode 2. So it starts off with the main character as Demon Lord, which he looks like Ainz, but a much more thinner version of him, where he's basically about to lose a battle. He's about to basically just surrender. And then, of course, basically his castle is destroyed thanks to a combined army. And then we cut to 1,000 years in the future. By the way, in the past we see like swords and magic. We cut to 1,000 years later, and we see basically our female lead of the series, Sella, otherwise known as Restelia, voiced by Lucy Christian. She apparently is this noble woman who is like the daughter of 2 people who have this thing called the Holy Sword. A Holy Sword, not the Holy Sword, a Holy Sword. And also, there is these things known as voids. Basically, things that are made of nothing. These terrible creatures that come completely out of nowhere. Apparently, they popped up about 64 years prior to present day. And also, they of course, they mentioned what type of calendar they use, which is not a change in the book. Thank you for that. They mentioned that the original calendar was the Holy God calendar, I think it was. Here, they refer to it as the Unified Human Calendar, 64. But according to what should be on the actual calendar, it'd be 14 something. And what do we see that's quite different from this particular type of reincarnation type of thing? Well, we see Stella using a smartphone. You're thinking, what? A smartphone? It's only been 1,000 years. Of course they would do this. And also, she drives a freaking motorcycle. Yes. And she's here with her maid and looking into these ruins, which just happens to be the main character's former castle. And then she just wanders to a room where she unlocks by touching a lock and sees a crystal which happens to have our lead in it. He comes out and he's a 10-year-old boy. And by the way, he spends a lot of the first episode and the second episode wearing only this cloak. It's revealed in the next episode he's actually butt naked in that damn thing. Yes. So he reveals his name is Linus, and apparently this version, the way his face looks, that's actually what he was before he became the king of the undead. Apparently he's a demon lord. Yes, a demon lord reincarnated. You're thinking, that sounds familiar. Didn't you just review that with something like that last year? Yes, the Misfit Demon Academy, except that was the King of Tyranny. So basically, he just was Linus, Magus, and he doesn't use his power. Apparently his power is a staff, like any sorcerer would. So apparently Scylla cannot use a holy sword. She can't summon one for some reason. Despite the fact her parents are sword users. So, by the way, also there's a maid who works for Scylla. Her name is Regina Mercedes. And she's voiced by Christina Kelly. Now, have I heard her anything aside from this one series? She was mine from a comic I kill. She was Alpha in The Eminence in Shadow, Luminous from Far Away Road, Uti from One Piece. Yes, Uti. If I remember correctly, Uti. I'm trying to remember who this one is. Oh yeah, it's oh yeah, I remember this character. This is the character who headbutted Nami. Yep. And she's also in, of course, this series too. This is the one. Actually, oh yeah, she also changed the man. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only the 6th series. Yes. And by the way, she's a blonde, so he uses a weapon. Of course, he first was a blonde in the episode, which is anything in the book too, which I appreciate the fact that the anime makes very little changes, which great on their part. Yes. At least Passionate is known for a company when they adapt a light novel. At least they keep everything in. They don't alter anything heavily. Not necessarily, no. They don't really mention exactly the type of vehicle that, well, Stella drives. It mentions it's like a carriage that with no horses. They don't go in definition exactly what the heck the thing looks like. I have not read the manga version story, so I don't know if this is the accurate to how it was picked in the manga. So at the out of that area, they ran a motorcycle to go to the Excalibur Academy, which is where Excalibur Academy trains sword masters. Yeah, so apparently the whole thing is with swords. Despite the fact I saw a gun in the episode. Yes, a gun. And apparently it's magical technology. And apparently so fantastic in the future. And then, of course, he gets to a modern-day bathroom. Yes, a modern-day bathroom from what used to be fantasy-based. When in the world the humanity got this, get this advanced, not really explained here just yet. So he calls upon his wolf and his maid, which apparently were living in a shadow for 1,000 years. The wolf, I kind of get being there, but the maid, I didn't really get that. So, before I continue here, I have to talk about a particular scene in the actual labyrinth. So, in the mausoleum. So, Stella is basically hurt, and she's bleeding like crazy, and looks like she's definitely dead. And then we see something that does not play into a factor until the very next episode. She's not told about this until the end of the second episode. He sort of heals her and seals her wounds. And it's now in the next episode. What we see like a mark on her left thigh. This mark that's like a braid, like across the thigh. They have it, which yes, this happened in the book too. They don't show exactly what it looked like in the book, but they do confirm she does have this. And her eyes turn red in the episode. Eyes turn red, and they'll explain what this is yet. I know what it is, but I'm not going to explain it. So, after he goes to the registry, of course, he uses his mono. Apparently, that's a no-no for some reason. They show a flashback also that the town she was in, everybody got killed for reasons. Not really sure why. This is like they had thousands of trained soldiers. They all died. Somehow, they're not able to face against these void creatures. One guy was a wayward. And the first creature they come across was an ogre, which I do kind of agree with Linus on this. That doesn't look like an ogre. This is what I call it an ogre. At least in the case of the other creature, the wyvern, that actually looks like a freaking dragon. I at least buy that. Because I initially thought voids like dragons. But they kind of explain they come from a different universe, the voids. Kind of. There's not much detail about it. In the book, there's not much detail about it either. Like, where the heck these things came from. So, then of course, after he goes to the examination, goes down his mana, and he gets an ID card. Yes, an ID card. Yes, something you would see in modern day technology. And walks out away. He gets 2 of the grounds, and then before he gets Richard his weapon, and we see that throughout this episode, it's not really prevalent in the first episode. Second episode is more prevalent here. What we see Stella, where she keeps like having headaches per se, but they don't really know for what it is until the end of the episode. So then she comes across Magus. Oh boy, he's just a jerk in the actual book itself, where it's like, hey, pretty girl, you want to join my platoon? You could be one of my toys. And she's like, nope. And of course, Linus being threatened and tells him basically back off. And then he basically pulls his own sword out. Now, in the book, I think this was done inside or outside because it's a computerized voice that tells him it's illegal to bring up for personal duels your holy sword. In the anime, it's done by a different character. Like, okay. And of course, apparently it's all. So they examine his clothing. So then they get to their room. Well, they actually get back to their dormitory, which they don't really go in detail what exactly the thing looks like. In the anime, it's a Victorian era style house. I'm like, this is perfectly fine. I'm sure they had this level of technology. It's just that when I think of a house like this, I think of, well, the first thing I think of is a couple of different movies. One of whom being Black Christmas, the other being Animal House, because they're based upon like their dormitory is a Victorian, is like a regular house, not like big apartment style buildings. So we see her maid just sleeping, or she went out shopping, and then of course they go upstairs, and of course Stella decides to get dressed. Let's take off her shirt, she takes off her stockings, which obviously, and of course then Linus takes off his cloak, which shows the fact he's butt naked. And then he washes it. Of course, he does not know about modern technology. Of course, he uses the soap that's supposed to wash your body. Try to wash it, like, nope. And then Stella comes in, washes him. And then, like, after explaining some stuff, then she collapses. And he tells her this. Stella, you never actually came back alive from the thing. You actually died. And that's the cliffhanger at the end of the second episode. I gotta admit, for the first 2 episodes, they adapt the actual book really well, and I'm definitely looking forward to the remaining 4 episodes that adapt this book, because I thoroughly enjoyed this. Lucia Christian does a great job playing this character, and I'm looking forward to what happens next. Okay, yes. By the way, I watched this on Cinema Filmworks, which is actually the let's see. Excuse me. I think this is like the 4th or 5th series recently. Now, let's see. I think this is as of recently. I think this is like the third that I've watched of new anime. This is the third one I've watched. Actually, the fourth, because basically, first was something that was first and watched on the streaming service High Dive, and then it was Vacancy Made by Prince, as I watched it last year. Then it was, of course, Emma Shadow. Now this one. For 4 anime on this website. And because the fact that Izuran goes on just come back later this year, I will be watching that website. Yep. Instead of going to some unofficial website to watch it, I'm going to the actual official Filmworks website to watch this thing. Yep. But really good first 2 episodes. Definitely enjoyed it and looking forward to talking about the rest. Okay, so that's particularly a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and do not hit that dislike button. Next up, Dragon Ball Z Kai. Okay, next video. Bye.